Hello, and welcome to gusmcdoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we use German missions from the game Firefight to illustrate World War II German tactics at the company level and below. In this campaign, we are playing through Operation Barbarossa as the Germans, with 9 battles over the course of June and July 1941. In this episode, Surprise Attack on Nesterenky Village, Operation Barbarossa has begun. Lead your columns of troops in a surprise attack on the unsuspecting Soviet forces. The large village of Nesterenky nestles on the confluence of the Kharinova River and several of its smaller tributaries. In each battle, we conduct basic mission analysis, develop and analyse possible courses of action, then decide and execute the plan in real time, followed by lessons learned. Please remember to like the video, comment and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And if you want to show your support with a donation, the links are in the description. In the last episode, the German Panzergrenadier Company cleared the woods and made contact with the Soviet main line of resistance in the village along the main road. Two direct hits from artillery, but the tank still fires. The Granatwerfer re-engages the infantry on the left flank. The anti-tank rifle team moves up to a firing position in a house near the lake. Lieutenant Koch's infantry section now moves forward on the German left flank.
Bewegung! Unter Beschuss!
Granatwerfer keeps firing to cover the anti-tank rifle team's advance.
Bewegung!
Lieutenant Vetter orders his section forward on the German right flank. Soviet mortar rounds fly over their heads. The Soviet mortar is firing from a position to the north. The Granatwerfer opens a counter-battery fire mission. The anti-tank rifle team see the T-34. This works in both directions and they come under fire and withdraw to safety.
Bewegung!
Koch's infantry advance to the creek line.
Bewegung! Bewegung!
Soviet mortars fire near where the anti-tank rifle team were headed.
Bewegung! Bewegung!
The Granatwerfer fires for effect. And re-engages.
Feuereinsatz kommen. Feuereinsatz Ende.
Hilfe!
Koch's infantry cross the creek line,
Fast erwischt!
and the Sonderkraftwerk move up. The Soviet mortar rounds fall harmlessly.
Siehe unter Beschuss! Bewegung!
Vetter's second section on the German right now moves up to a building on the main road.
Feindkontakt! Schützt auf!
The Sonderkraftwerk 222 puts direct fire on the lake house. And Lieutenant Schlüter's fourth section follows Vetter around to the right.
Где сержант? Siehe unter Beschuss! Beieinander bleiben. Siehe unter Beschuss! Das war knapp! Bewegung!
Soviet mortars fall onto Vetter's former position.
Bewegung! Bewegung! Schon auf dem Weg!
Obergrenadier Miller in Vetter's section is severely wounded by shrapnel in the right leg.
Bewegung!
Koch's infantry are in position in the woods on the left flank.
Brenngranate laden. Geladen. Feuer. Okay.
On the right flank, Schlüter's section moves up to a building on the main road. The infantry have scouted a good route forward for the panzers. Ebert's Panzer 35T moves to cross the creek. If the panzers can cross the creek, they can outflank the Soviet position along the main road. The anti-tank rifle team moves up.
Macht ihnen die Hölle heiß!
The Panzer IIIs move up. Ebert's Panzer has forded the creek and moves up to the road. Berger's Panzer 35 follows.
Feuereinsatz. Kommen.
The Granatwerfer opens fire on an unknown contact at the crossroads.
Feuer einstellen. Kommen. Feuer einstellen. Ende.
The Panzer 35s are probing forward to see if they can turn the Soviet flank. The Panzer IIIs and the Panzer IV follow on. And the Sonderkraftfahrzeug. Koch's infantry section on the German left flank moves up to the hedgerows. On the German right flank, the Germans are putting pressure on the Soviet infantry. Once the panzers are in position, they will cross the main road and turn the Soviet left flank. The unknown contact at the crossroads is probably a tank. And there is a T-34 in the village square.
Feuereinsatz. Kommen. Feuereinsatz. Ende.
Time for a smoke mission. This will screen the German assault,
Feuereinsatz. Kommen.
Sehr unter Beschuss!
Feuereinsatz.
and the Granatwerfer needs to suppress the Soviet mortar. Obergrenadier Miller in Vetter's section is severely wounded by ricocheted shrapnel in the right leg. The Panzer IIIs have crossed the ford into the forming up point.
Schuss. Kommen. Schuss. Ende.
Contact! 45mm anti-tank gun at the T-junction near the lake.
202. Kommen.
Hilfe!
202. Ende.
Nimm Feuer frei! Sehr unter Beschuss! Deckung! Hilfe!
Feuereinsatz. Kommen.
The Granatwerfer targets the 45mm anti-tank gun. The first smoke tester has fallen near the lake.
Schuss. Kommen. Schuss. Ende.
The wind is blowing from the south.
Nah. Kommen. 100 nah. Ende.
Grenadier Esser in Koch's section is killed by shrapnel in the abdomen.
Sehr unter Beschuss!
Schuss. Kommen. Schuss.
Soviet
Ende.
infantry are firing from near the lake houses. The next smoke round falls on the main road.
50. Weit. Kommen.
The screen is in place.
50 weit. Ende.
Verdammt!
Vetter and Schluter's sections cross the main road. Sanders' section pushes up in the woods.
Nimm das! Rückzug!
The anti-tank rifle team is in position.
Schuss. Kommen. Schuss. Ende. Wirkungsfeuer. Kommen.
More smoke.
Wirkungsfeuer. Ende.
The artillery fire for effect, and the panzers begin to push across the road.
Bewegung! Bewegung!
On the left flank, the Granatwerfer is not hitting the anti-tank gun. The team re-engages.
Feuereinsatz. Kommen.
Bin getroffen!
Feuereinsatz. Ende.
Auf dem Weg!
Smoke drops into the village square. The first panzers are across the road.
Sunny!
Schlüter's section pushes forward to screen the panzers, as does Vetter. And the remaining panzers cross the road. Vetter's section targets Soviet infantry in the open.
Verdammt, erwischt! Hab ihn erledigt! Sehe unter Beschuss! Erwischt!
They are withdrawing. The Soviet flank is turned.
Fast erwischt! Das war knapp! Verdammt! Geht in Deckung! Bin getroffen!
Fire from the north. Grenadier Cole is severely wounded by a bullet in the left leg. Grenadier Frey is killed by a bullet in the chest.
Sehe unter Beschuss!
The panzers are advancing around the Soviet left flank, advancing from cover to cover, following the river line.
Du schaffst das! Sehe unter Beschuss!
Brenngranate nach.
Sehe unter Beschuss!
Feuer. Auf dem Weg.
Bewegung! Geht in Deckung!
Oberleutnant Ebert's Panzer 35T has broken down
Sehe unter Beschuss! Fernkontakt!
and is destroyed by AP shell through the hull upper left. Ebert and Cole are killed,
Bewegung! Weg!
Goebel and Lenz wounded.
Sehe unter Beschuss!
A Soviet machine gun opens up on the wounded crew from across the river.
Bin bei dir!
The panzer cooks off.
Sunny! Unter! Rückzug! Bewegung!
Grenadier Cole, in Vetter's section, is wounded by a mortar shell blast in the head.
Sehe unter Beschuss! Sehe unter Beschuss! Rückzug!
and severely wounded by shrapnel in the right leg.
Bewegung! Sunny! Das war knapp!
Meanwhile, Berger's Panzer 35 is hunting the unknown tank contact.
Bewegung! Sunny! Sehe unter Beschuss!
Feuer. Brenngranate nach.
Fernkontakt!
Back at the lake, the Granatwerfer destroys the 45mm anti-tank gun by mortar shell blast. The Granatwerfer switches targets to the Soviet heavy machine gun east of the river.
Feuereinsatz. Kommen. Feuereinsatz. Ende.
The Soviet mortar continues to fire from a position to the north.
Sunny! Ich bin bei dir. Du schaffst das. Sehe unter Beschuss!
Feindkontakt. Panzergranate.
Berger locates the tank.
Geladen. Feuer. Panzergranate laden.
And destroys the BT-7 engine by APC shell.
Auf dem Weg.
And destroys the BT-7 by APC shell through the hull upper rear.
Brenngranate nach.
The way is now clear for the remaining panzers.
Geladen.
Bewegung.
Feuer.
Bewegung!
The BT-7 cooks off. The anti-tank rifle team now creeps forward to get a shot at the T-34. And Koch's infantry section moves up to the T-junction. The Sonderkraftfahrzeuge push over to the right flank.
Ich bin bei dir. Immer gut. Was sieht in der Station? Bewegung!
Granate laden. Geladen. Feuer!
Ich bin bei dir.
Soviet spotting rounds fall and the German infantry hurry
Bewegung!
forward.
Bewegung! Bewegung!
The Panzers now push on the objective from the east.
Brenngranate laden. Geladen.
Kommt schon! Bewegung! Vorwärts!
Feuer! Geladen. Feuer! Bewegt.
The Soviet artillery falls harmlessly to the German rear.
Feuer! Bewegt. Brenngranate laden. Feuer! Bewegt.
Grenadier Cole in Vetter's squad has bled to death.
Sani!
Brenngranate laden. Geladen. Feuer! Bewegt.
The Sonderkraftfahrzeuge now target the Soviet heavy machine gun.
Feuer frei!
Brenngranate laden. Geladen. Feuer! Bewegt. Brenngranate laden. Geladen. Feuer!
Bewegung!
The Panzers have now completely outflanked the Soviet position.
Brenngranate laden.
Du schaffst das!
Feuer!
Bewegung!
Berger hunts the Soviet mortar. The Granatwerfer re-engages the Soviet heavy machine gun.
Feuereinsatz. Kommen! Feuereinsatz. Ende.
Berger has located the Soviet light mortar. The crew flee.
Brenngranate laden. Geladen.
Ziel erobert!
The Germans take the objective.
Bewegung!
Brenngranate laden. Geladen. Feuer!
Ziegler's Panzer III destroys a 45mm anti-tank gun by HE shell.
Отступаем!
The crew flee. The big risk now is a counterattack by the T-34. The Panzers move up.
Bewegung!
German infantry continue to push forward on the right flank, clearing behind the Panzers. The Granatwerfer places rounds on the Soviet position at the lake houses.
Feuereinsatz. Kommen! Feuereinsatz.
Bewegung!
The T-34 is not moving and might be immobilized. Time to expend the remaining artillery high explosive rounds.
Feuereinsatz. Kommen! Feuereinsatz. Ende.
Victory! Operation Barbarossa has begun. Lead your columns of troops in a surprise attack on the unsuspecting Soviet forces. German forces: 82 survived, 4 wounded, 7 killed, 1 vehicle lost. Soviet forces: 40 survived, 3 wounded, 18 killed, 1 vehicle lost, and 2 anti-tank guns lost. You took the objective in good time and took very few losses, although there was only light opposition. Your commanders rate your performance as adequate. 2 gold stars. So, what did we learn? First, the use of an infantry point on a broad front to screen ahead of the panzers worked well. If the infantry point advances against a village or a woods in which the enemy is thought to be, then it deploys and goes forward on a broad front. If the point encounters a sizable enemy force, one that surpasses it in strength, then it initially takes full cover until supporting troops come up from the rear. In this battle, the infantry cleared the woods and identified the Soviet main line of resistance in the village along the main road, including a T-34 in the village square, as well as infantry near the lake houses and an anti-tank gun at the T-junction. These sizable enemy forces surpassed the German infantry in strength. So, the infantry took full cover until the supporting forces, the panzers, came up from the rear. Second, one role for the panzers is to penetrate enemy positions and exploit behind enemy front lines. In this battle, under cover of smoke, the panzers turned the Soviet left flank. Then they exploited the rear of the Soviet position, knocking out a BT-7 tank, light mortar, and 45mm anti-tank gun before taking the objective. With German forces to their front, flank, and rear, the Soviet position at Nesterenky Village was untenable. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.